Now, I know what you guys are thinking, 3 Bulls videos in 3 consecutive days, but when there's interesting news to talk about, man, there's always a reason to make a Chicago Bulls video. The love of this fan base has been incredible, and of course, when people are looking to find out the next step for this franchise, there's always something that needs to be discussed. Let's talk about the coaching position of the Chicago Bulls, and more importantly, let's talk about Billy Donovan. Let's do it. What's up, everybody? It's the Aidan Sports Show, and welcome back to another video. This is going to be a Chicago Bulls related video in terms of the head coaching position for the Chicago Bulls, and more specifically about Billy Donovan going to the Chicago Bulls as the head coach. Now, before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Aidan Sports Show. Aidan Sports Show YouTube channel, turn notifications on, and let me know in the comments below. Would you take Billy Donovan as the head coach of the Chicago Bulls? As recent stories have come out, especially from credible sources, saying that the Bulls are 100% interested in getting this head coach to Chicago. And let's see where the future lies. Would you take him? Would I take him? That's the question I will ask in most of these Chicago Bulls videos in terms of new people coming in. Would I take Billy Donovan as the head coach of the Chicago Bulls? I am a little bit conflicted, but ultimately I would say yes, I would. Of course I would. We need a head coach. He's a good head coach. It makes perfect sense. But there are a little bit of concerns, in my opinion, that could or could not just be a result of one season. Now, with Billy Donovan, he is a very good coach in my opinion. He is a coach that will bring the best out of players like Larry Markkinen, Wendell Carter, Kobe White. Players that are not known to be the best player on the team will make them one of the best players, if not the best player on the team. Billy Donovan has a use for every single player. Every single player has a role. Every single player has the ability. Every single player will get better under him. This season for Billy Donovan has arguably been a breakout season for him as a head coach, and a breakout season for the OKC Thunder and what they could do with a team like this. Whether they keep it together or whether they break it apart, they know exactly what they did this season, and it was one of the most incredible achievements you could ever ask from a franchise who was supposed to not even make the playoffs, were borderline going to be one of the worst teams in the NBA. They ended up finishing 5th seed in the West. Very, very difficult West as well, leaving teams like the San Antonio Spurs out of that contention. So many teams were fighting for positions in the playoffs, and somehow OKC, a team that had 0.2% chance of making it into the NBA playoffs, ended up finishing above so many of those teams. So fair play to Billy Donovan, fair play to the OKC Thunder. Now let's get into what I believe is the weaknesses of Billy Donovan. So we talk about the positives. Obviously, he is a good team coach. He has team camaraderie. Everybody will have a role. Everybody will probably raise up and overachieve, because that is what Billy Donovan is good at. He made that OKC Thunder team overachieve. Maybe people don't believe that. They said that OKC should have been the 5th seed, but in my opinion, no one gave that team a chance, even including some of their own fans. So the fact that they got to the 5th seed means a lot of their players like Danilo Gallinari, even Nerlens Noel, Dennis Schroeder, Chris Paul came to elite level. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander breaking out. All of these things. Steven Adams being Steven Adams. All these things, a lot of these players overachieve from what they expected to be, and that's why you have to give a lot of credit to Billy Donovan for that. They gave them the platform to perform. They gave them the ability. They gave them the confidence. In the end, that's the coach's role, to make everybody feel welcome, comfortable, and feel like they're important to the team. And that's why they performed. He is a big part of that. He's probably the main part of that. Obviously, you have Chris Paul, who is pretty much a coach on the court, really. The guy is so intelligent, so smart, that basically he can be that coach on the court. But it's more than that as well. And in my opinion, he could definitely be a very, very good coach for the Chicago Bulls. Now, the weakness of his game, as I was going to mention before, and I will mention now, the weakness of his game is that a few years ago, people were saying that this guy was not a good coach and that he needed to leave OKC and that he wasn't good enough for the franchise. He's not going to take them to the next step. But could that just be because Russell Westbrook was on the team? And when Russell Westbrook is on the team, ultimately your focus is all on him. Because in my opinion, the way I see Billy Donovan is that he is a team-oriented coach. His focus is on the entire team and not really focused on one guy. And that's why everybody on that team excels, not just one specific person. Where if you had a team with Russell Westbrook, I'm not trying to criticize Russell Westbrook here, but ultimately he was far and away the best player. He was the franchise player. All the focus was on him. So it might have made it a little bit more difficult for Billy Donovan to actually work around a system which made Russell Westbrook the star player that gets all the stats and does all the moves, all the plays, whereas making the team better as well. It's a very, very fine line sometimes to being a good coach and a bad coach. And sometimes it's one player that actually makes a coach better or worse, makes a coach good or bad. And maybe in that retrospect, there is a risk there because we do have a player in Zach LaVine that will be taking a lot of our shots, that will be taking a lot of the ball, that will be carrying the ball, will have the highest usage on the team. Will that be good for a player or a coach like Billy Donovan to come in and try and get a team-oriented game with Zach LaVine going to be the star, going to be the player that people watch out for? In the end, I don't see this being too much of a risk because we've seen and he's proven that this season, and we base it on the latest this season, he has overachieved as the head coach of the OKC Thunder. Yes, previous years he's had a very, very poor track record in terms of OKC, how to deal with star players, how to actually coach star players, how he can't call plays in the clutch, how he allowed Russell Westbrook to do anything that he wanted without really any consequences. All of that really can play a part and a factor into why he was so disregarded within the first few years. But clearly, since Russell Westbrook has moved on and this season has come to an end, people have changed their mind on this guy. People have actually believed that he is a very good head coach. And there's every right to them. The more power to the man. He is a good head coach. People should be recognizing his play. People should be recognizing the achievements that he's had. And obviously, he wasn't sacked from the OKC job. He wasn't fired. It was a mutual agreement. They both decided to part ways. So it's not like he was bad enough that he got sacked. In fact, it was completely the opposite. He wanted to leave the OKC Thunder, and the OKC Thunder probably wanted to go in a different direction. Now, there's a rebuild that could potentially be happening in OKC Thunder. That's why he left. And in my opinion, coming to the Chicago Bulls is not going to be a championship team. So do I think this will happen? He's one of the favorites. I still think that even if the Bulls are highly interested, I'm not sure Billy Donovan will be interested in the Chicago Bulls. But if he in fact is, and he creates an atmosphere that I think this team would thrive under, a team-oriented atmosphere, then I think only positive things, and I would definitely take him. However, I just don't see this happening personally. I really do think Kenny Atkinson will be the head coach of the Chicago Bulls. And if that turns out to be wrong, then fair enough, I am wrong. But this is, for me, it seems too good to be true, to be honest, because he left for a potential rebuilding team in OKC to join another rebuilding team in Chicago. I don't know if that's going to be the way that things go. I would absolutely love it. Chicago Bulls, get that done. I would love to have Billy Donovan as the head coach of the Chicago Bulls. He's not my first choice. I still think Kenny Atkinson would do a better job, but he's definitely high up there. He's one of the top tier guys where you look at, because he's also been a head. It's not like we look at a lot of assistant head coaches, and we look at head coaches as well. This is a head coach that's actually had experience coaching at a top level, coaching playoffs. Big thing. Coaching in the NBA playoffs. That's something that we need. We need coaches that have been there before, done that, have the experience, how to deal with players, how to get the team motivated for one goal, making the playoffs, winning a championship. We need someone that can do that. And whether it's Kenny Atkinson or whether it's Billy Donovan or whoever it is, we need someone that will have that experience on our side. He seems like a coach, that could do that for us. I could talk his praises all day long, but I think we all know what he would bring to Chicago. And he's definitely someone that we should not be ignoring. In my opinion, it won't happen, but it should not be ignored. We can potentially have a fantastic coach in our team, ready to go by the next season's end, and it's going to be incredible. I'm very excited, man. I mean, so many good things happening to Chicago at the moment. I don't know how they're going to tear us down, but we look to be on a very, very positive front line upwards towards next season. And Billy Donovan would definitely take us over that edge. I'm very happy to know what you guys think in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching this video. Very short video, I do apologize, but with that news, there's not really much else to talk about in terms of the Chicago Bulls. Of course, there'll be separate videos coming for you guys, so stay tuned. More Chicago Bulls videos on the way. Please like and subscribe if you're new. Have a wonderful day, guys. I will see you in another video. Billy Donovan to the Chicago Bulls. It sounds like a good idea to me, man. Take care and peace.